Hi, everyone. Good evening. I'm immigration attorney Elle Brudner, and I'm coming to you guys live from Orange County, California, here to answer immigration questions and to talk to you about family-based immigration in 2021. Already, this year has been full of surprises and updates with immigration. A lot of good things are already in the works, so it's an exciting time to file for any kind of petition, especially family-based petitions. So I am going to talk a little bit about family-based petitions and answer some of the questions that we received this week from viewers on different social media platforms or through our website. And I am happy to take any questions if you have any, so feel free to write your questions in the comments, and I will try to get to them as we go. I am streaming on multiple platforms, so forgive me if it takes me a while to get to your question, okay? Wonderful. So let's talk a little bit about family-based green card petitions in 2021. So for those of you that don't know me, I'm an immigration attorney. So Yael Brudner and I practice immigration law exclusively. And one of the most common case types that we handle are family-based green card petitions. These basically are cases in which U.S. citizens or green card holders, lawful permanent residents, apply to petition their family members for a green card. So this could be their spouse, their children, their parents, their siblings, okay? Depending on who you're petitioning, the process differs a little bit, and processing times differ sometimes a lot. So I wanted to jump in to answer some questions that people have asked. Let's see right now. Okay, so here's a question. I'm a U.S. citizen. My fiance entered the U.S. on a tourist visa and overstayed. Can I petition her for a green card? It's a really common question. We get it a lot. U.S. citizen is about to marry their fiance. The fiance is a foreign national, and she entered with a visa. Okay, so as a U.S. citizen, you can petition your spouse. Your spouse is an immediate relative, so there's no wait for a visa. There's no wait to petition. You can file right away. The good thing about petitioning a spouse when you're a U.S. citizen is that an overstay of your spouse is forgiven. So in this case, if you entered with a visa, if your fiance entered with a visa and overstayed, they can still apply for a green card here in the US without leaving. In addition, they can also apply for a work permit, for a travel document, while you guys are in the process of the green card. Okay, the main thing is, though, you do have to get married first. So there's no way to petition your fiance for a green card here in the U.S. You would have to get married first, and then you can file the petition. Okay, and definitely consult with a lawyer prior to filing. There's a lot of little things you should consider when you are filing for an immigration benefit. If you're filing for a petition for your spouse, you need to make sure you're doing it correctly. An immigration attorney can help you do that. Okay, if you don't have an attorney with you, if you're filing by yourself, then it just can cause some backlogs, delays, rejections, yeah, all that. Okay, so I hope I answered that question. Let me see. I see some questions on TikTok. Okay, there's a question about the K-1 visa. Is it happening now? So the K-1 visa is a fiancé visa, and it is for U.S. citizens that want to petition their fiancés that are abroad, that are not here in the U.S. Okay, they are happening. You can start the process of the fiancé visa. The process actually starts here in the U.S. However, we are seeing some K-1 visas stuck right now at the embassies because some of the embassies are not open due to COVID around the world. So if you haven't started your K-1 fiancé visa case yet, you can absolutely start it. The process starts here in the US with filing with immigration here. and that takes several months. So definitely start it. So there's a follow-up, should I pursue a K1 even though it's COVID? So yeah, I do recommend to pursue the K1 because you have to start with filing a petition here in the US, and that takes about 5 to 7 months to get approved. So by the time your case goes to the consulate or the embassies might be already open. Okay, so definitely start your fiancé case. There's a question here about any updates about the 8-year path for citizenship. Alina is asking. That's a great question. You know, Biden's administration has been very pro-immigration. They had said that since the beginning, since the campaign, that they are going to introduce an immigration reform. And they did. They introduced an act. It's called the Citizenship Act of 2021. And it does offer huge reform and a pathway to citizenship for undocumented individuals here in the US. Okay. We don't have any updates about this yet. We know what the plan says. The plan says, what the plan suggests. It says that people that are undocumented here in the US that meet certain requirements will be able to apply for a 5-year temporary status. And then after that, they will be receive a green card. And after 3 years on a green card, they will be able to apply for citizenship. So that's the total of the 8 years. Now, it's still far from becoming law. Okay, many administration tried to pass immigration reform in the past. It's not easy because anytime you want to pass a new law in America, you have to get both the Congress and the Senate, the House of Representatives and the Senate to approve this to a law. So it's not easy. But there is hope, and the fact that they're even suggesting this goes a long way. Okay. Let's see. Adam is asking a question. What if we're married abroad and you come on a B1, B2 and overstayed? So it's the same thing. So if you are a U.S. citizen, okay, and or your spouse is a U.S. citizen, and the non-citizen comes in on a B1, B2 and they overstayed, you can petition them. The U.S. citizen can petition them for a green card here in the U.S. Okay, this is only available for U.S. citizens though. So if you're a green card holder, you would have to wait until you become a citizen for your spouse to be able to apply for a green card here in the U.S. Okay, let's see. For those of you joining right now, I'm immigration attorney Elle. I'm doing well. Thank you for asking. I'm answering immigration questions. So if you have any questions, feel free to write them in the comments. I'm happy to answer. Okay. I am streaming live on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. So I'm answering questions kind of from different platforms. So if I did miss your question, please ask again. Okay. Let's see. There's a question. I'll be a citizen soon, but we're married before my spouse got her B1, B2 and overstayed. So, okay, so there's an issue here. If your spouse applied for the B1, B2 after you guys were married, I would just consult with an attorney because you want to make sure that she disclosed that you were married, that she was married at the time. Okay, that she requested her B1, B2 visa. Okay, so definitely talk to a lawyer just to make sure that everything is proper. But just in general, even if, if she disclosed that you guys are married before she applied for her visa and she received the visa and she came to the US and overstayed and then you want to petition her, it's possible. You just have to be careful with your timing. Okay, you don't want to create a situation where issues of intent could come up because she just applied for her visa. Okay, so definitely reach out. I'd love to talk to you more in detail to advise you on the best way to apply and the best timing for you to apply for a green card for your spouse. Okay, and definitely wait for you to become a citizen. So it'll be a process. Apply for your citizenship, and then petition your spouse, and I can definitely help you with that. Okay, Pancho is asking about VAWA EAD. Did you have any specific question about that? Let's see. VAWA waiting time for, okay. So what is the waiting time for a work permit when you applied for VAWA? So currently we're seeing about 5 to 7 months, okay? Closer to 5 months, most cases, after you file a VAWA case, you can receive an EAD. This is assuming that you also filed for your adjustment of status. Okay. Let's see. There's a question here. What is USCIS doing? I applied for my N400 in July 2020, and I did not get my biometrics yet. That's a good question. What USCIS is doing? They are for sure not consistent with issuing receipt notices and issuing biometrics notices. So the first thing I would do, I would make sure that they received your case. So did they did they issue you a receipt notice? Okay. For many of our naturalization cases, what we're seeing is that USCIS is waiving the biometrics. So they're sending a notice that they're not going to be doing a biometrics. They're going to be using previously captured biometrics. So maybe they sent you a notice like that. I would also suggest to try to call the USCIS contact center to get an update on your status. Okay. There's a question here. How long does it take for the citizenship interview after biometrics nowadays? It's really inconsistent. It really depends on where you filed for your citizenship, what city you're at. I have cases that have been waiting about a year for an interview, and then we filed a bunch of cases in the fall just before they were about to increase the filing fee for citizenship, and they've already been being called for interviews. So it's about 5 months. So it really, really varies. In general, I tell my clients to expect it between 6 months to 12 months to be called for an interview. And great news about the citizenship test. So USCIS just announced that they're going to go back and cancel the new and harder citizenship test that they announced that they're going to starting December 1st, 2020. So the good news is that if you're waiting for a citizenship test, you don't have to take the harder test. You can take the test that was before the regular test. So that's good news. Okay, let's see. For those of you joining now, I'm immigration attorney Yael. I'm answering questions, immigration questions. So if you have any, feel free to write them in the comments and I'll try to get to them as we go. Okay, there's a question here from Miriam. What is a waiver? Is it possible to get it here in the United States? So there is a possibility to be granted a waiver here in the US. You might be talking about the 601A waiver, and it's available for people that are spouses of US citizens or green card holders, and they are here and they have been accruing unlawful presence. And if they leave the country, they'll be subject to a bar to return. So this is for people that cannot adjust their status here in the US. They need to leave the country. They can't get their green card here. They need to go back to their home country. And there's a possibility to ask for a waiver in advance. It's pretty complicated. If you think you need a waiver, then definitely talk to an immigration lawyer. Okay, let's see. Mirza is saying, I come here without a visa. Can my wife apply for me? She has a green card. Okay, so if you came in without a visa, your wife can apply for you for a green card, but you're going to have to complete the green card process outside of the US. Okay, so that's when, for example, you need a waiver. Because if you came in without a visa, then you cannot adjust your status here in the US. You can't apply for your green card here in the US. So we can definitely help you, but you have to consult with, call us, schedule consultation, and we can review your case and advise you exactly how to do it. Okay. Let's see. If an H-1B status is denied, can a company apply for me for an E-2 status? Possibly, yes. I would want to know, are you here in the US? Are you in status? In order to change status here in the US, you have to always be in status. So definitely consult with an attorney about this. I'm sure your company already has an attorney, but if your company is a treaty country company, so it's a country that the owners of the company come from a specific country that's in a treaty with the US, they might be able to apply for an E-2 employee for you. Okay, it's complicated. It's really detail specific. So definitely reach out either to the company's attorney or to me for a consultation. I'd love to help you and talk to you more in detail. Okay, let's see. Hina saying you filed in Riverside for citizenship. So yeah, it's about up to a year, I want to say. Is the consultation free? There is a consultation fee, so it's not free. But in our case, if you do hire our firm for any legal service, for any petition or anything that we do for you, then we deduct the consultation fee from that price, from any fee that you pay in the future. Okay. Let's see. Sandeep is asking, my I-45 interview is done in October, but I'm still waiting for my green card. Okay, so sometimes after you have an interview, the officer does not decide on the spot on your case. Sometimes they say they need to review your case and they will let you know their decision. So they can either send you a decision in the mail, could be an approval, or they can say, you know what, we can't approve your green card just yet. We need some more information. That would be that they'll send you a request for evidence. So they'll want to know more information. And the third option is that they're going to send you a notice of intent to deny, meaning they're going to say, we think we're going to deny your green card and these are the reasons why. We want to give you one more chance to try to convince us that you should get a green card. So usually when there is a long wait, it's because they're either going to issue an RFE or going to issue a notice of intent to deny. Okay, so I would want to know what happened at the interview, any questions come up, any issues come up, issues of fact, issues of eligibility, previous immigration violations, any criminal history. So really, I would need to know a little bit more information, but from my experience, when you wait for a long time after an interview, usually you should expect soon to receive a letter from them, either a request for evidence or a notice of intent to deny. What you can do, you can try to call the USCIS contact center and request a status on your case. It's not always helpful, but sometimes they're able to help. Okay. Specific, how long does it take citizenship in Long Island, New York? I don't know specifically for Long Island, New York. I don't have any cases filed there currently, but anywhere from 6 to 12 months, could be a little bit more. Okay, for everyone joining, thank you so much for joining. I am immigration attorney Yael, and I've been answering immigration questions. I'm streaming on multiple platforms, so just kind of scrolling between them to see if I can catch all the questions. Okay. Juliet is asking how many funds in the bank do you need for applying for a visitor visa for your mom? So basically what your mom needs to show is that she will be able to support herself here in the US for the period of her visits here in the US, because your mom won't be able to work here. So they just want to make sure that you have enough, that she would have enough money to provide for herself. Okay, if your mom is going to stay with you, you can write a letter saying you're going to provide her with housing, with food and anything that she needs, and that she has enough money to cover her expenses. Okay, so it's not a specific amount that you need to show to get the tourist visa. If you want some advice on how to apply for a tourist visa in the best way, I'm happy to help you guys. Feel free to reach out to me or to my office to schedule a consultation. You can call us or text us or reach out to us through the link in my bio. Okay, Oscar is asking, can you explain to me what the difference is by getting a green card granted if it's granted by the judge? Okay, an EOR I-485. So basically, if you're placed in removal proceedings, in deportation proceedings, USCIS no longer has the power to decide your case. Okay, they don't have what's called jurisdiction anymore. If you're in deportation proceedings, if you're in immigration court, then only the judge can grant you a green card at this point. Now, if you qualify for a green card, if you can adjust your status, that's what Form 485 is, you could do the process in front of the judge. Okay, for example, if someone is placed in immigration proceedings, but they're married to a US citizen and they qualify for a green card here in the US, they meet all the requirements, then at your hearing, the judge would just decide on the green card case. Okay, so you won't have an interview, the judge would decide. Okay, hope I answered that. Okay, Adam is asking, I have a citizenship interview next month. Am I going to be asked about my spouse's status in case? No, you shouldn't be asked about that. Are you asking if you're going to be asked, have you petitioned your spouse? Basically, the citizenship interview will first, you should be ready and prepared to ask how you received your green card. Okay, if you were petitioned by an ex-spouse or by an employer, and you're no longer with your ex-spouse, they might question, how long after you received your green card have you separated? Okay, if an employer petitioned you and you're no longer working with the employer, they might ask you, how long after you got your green card through an employer did you stop working for the employer? So usually the questions on the citizenship would focus on you and how you got your green card. If you got your green card through a spouse, okay, someone petitioned you and you are now already petitioning someone else, okay, that could be a situation where I would suggest talking to a lawyer if it's very close, okay? Could raise some red flags. Not necessarily problematic, but could raise some questions. Okay. There's a question here. Miriam is asking, do you apply for visitor visa? Yeah, I can help you with a visitor visa to apply for one. Absolutely. Let's see. During the citizenship interview, if I have a speed ticket, is there a problem? It's not a problem. Nope. If it's only one speeding ticket, it's usually not a problem. You do need to disclose any convictions, any arrests, any citations, and we do include a ticket as a citation, but it's not a problem if it's just that one ticket. Okay, there's a question here. I'm married to a U.S. citizen. I've done my fingerprints. Now what happens next? Okay, if you're married to a U.S. citizen, you guys filed a petition, adjustment of status, you already received your fingerprints notice and you already got that done. The next step would be that you would receive your work permit, assuming that you filed for a work permit. And the next step would be an interview. Okay. let's see, depending on your status, you can or cannot receive your green card here in the US. Okay. Let's see. So Juliet is saying my mom has no bank account. Even if I want to apply with my account, can I apply with my account? You don't need a bank account to apply for a visitor visa. You just need to be able to explain how you're going to support yourself. Okay. She does need to pay if you're talking about paying the filing fee, then you can pay the filing. She can use a different card to pay the fee for the visa. Is that what you're asking? I'm not sure. Okay. How can someone get a driver's license if he's leaving illegal in the US? Saqib, that's a good question. It depends where you're living. Certain places certain states have different restrictions on driver's license. Okay, in California, it's easier to get a driver's license than other places like Tennessee. Okay, you can't get it if you don't have some kind of work permit or social security number or something like that. So it depends on where you are. How much time does it take to get a green card? We say usually 12 to 18 months, depending on if you are here in the US, if you can apply here or you're applying from abroad, but usually probably takes about 18 months. Okay. You're welcome, Adam. Thank you so much for asking and joining the question. Okay. Reina is asking, can my boyfriend marry me and get papers without coming back to the US legally? So is your boyfriend here in the US? Give me a little bit more information. So you're a US citizen, you have a boyfriend, where is he? Okay, in the meantime, Raki is asking, I applied for citizenship on February 2020, so last year. Can you tell me when I receive interview notice? You should receive it soon. It's been a year. You should receive it soon. Depending on where you live, some citizenships offices are very backlogged. Here in Orange County, we are receiving a lot of interview notices right now. Okay, Jocelyn saying, I applied through my husband, who's a US citizen, but after biometrics, we've been called for an interview. Is that the question? Yeah, for the interview. Okay, you've been called for an interview. Did you have a specific question about that? Juliet is clarifying, yes, I can pay everything for her. Does she explain at the time of interview? My daughter pay for everything. Something like that, yeah. If your mom is a little older, if you think she might have a hard time explaining, what you can do is you can practice with her, what you would say at the interview. The interview for the visitor visa is very short. It's 5 minutes. She's going to be asked, what are you going to do in the US? How are you going to provide for yourself? Where are you going to stay? How are you going to buy food? They want to know all that. So she just needs to practice saying, I'm going to stay with my daughter. My daughter's going to provide for me. You can maybe write her a letter, a short letter that she can present at her visitor visa interview. Okay, you guys, I'm going to answer a couple more questions because I need to wrap up for today. Let's see. Okay, Sandra on Facebook is saying, I haven't been able to get a phone call answer from the consulate or won't allow me to do an appointment online. What can I do? Sandra, what are you applying for? And where are you applying for it? If you can give me a little bit more information about that. It's very hard to reach anyone at the consulate, but it's easier to contact the US Visa call center. If you have a question about an appointment, sometimes it's easier to get a hold of someone there. A good idea is to try to perhaps write an email. There's an email address that you can write into, but in general, it's very tricky right now with a consulate. A lot of the consulates are not open right now. For a green card through my citizen husband. Okay, so you're waiting for an interview right now? if you're waiting for an interview, or there's a few steps. You first have to be qualified by the National Visa Center. And usually what happens is that the National Visa Center will schedule you an interview at the consulate. So that's usually how it works. Okay, if you're trying to get a hold of anyone there, you can try to write an email. You can write an email to the National Visa Center. Oh, you're waiting to get your passport. So you already had the interview and you were approved at the interview, and now they are supposed to send you your passport. Is that where you are? And also what country, if you can tell, if you can share. Okay, guys. I am answering some immigration questions. I'm on Facebook, TikTok, YouTube, and Instagram. So I'm kind of going through. I want to answer just one more question, I think. Irfan is asking, is it harder to get 2-year temporary green card or removal of conditions? So when you apply for a green card based on marriage and you're married for less than 2 years, then you do get a temporary green card. You get a conditional green card for 2 years. Okay, before the expiration of the 2 years, 90 days before, you have to apply to remove the conditions on your green card. Okay, it's not hard. You just need to show that you are still married. If you are still married, you need to show that you entered into the marriage in good faith. And if you are no longer married, then there are also exceptions, and there's a way to also file that way. So it's not hard. You just need to make sure you're doing it properly and make sure you're doing it on the right time. And I'd love to help you with that. Okay, so, oh, okay. They told me I have to get passport first to get interview and then continue the process. Your paralegal told me that. Okay, Sandra, hi, I didn't even recognize you. Yes, you have a specific situation, and we can talk to you in detail about that. Okay. Feel free to call us tomorrow and we can discuss your case more again in detail. Okay. I didn't recognize you with the last name. Okay, guys, I'm going to wrap up for tonight. Thank you so much for joining me. I hope I was able to answer some of your questions. If I didn't answer your questions, I really apologize. I am kind of, they do go pretty quick, the questions. Please feel free to reach out and contact me directly. You can contact me through my website and the bio, or here on the phone number below, on Facebook. I am happy to answer any questions you might have. Okay, so good night, everyone, and see you soon.